You're about to learn why most people stay broke their entire lives, while rich people keep getting richer. And it has nothing to do with how much money they make. A high-earning doctor can be broke. A low-earning entrepreneur can be rich. The difference is debt. Right now you're probably in a debt trap, and you don't even realize it. You think it's normal. You think everyone has debt. But that's exactly what keeps you poor. Rich people know something you don't. They understand that debt isn't just money you owe. Debt is your future stolen. Debt is your freedom gone. Debt is you working for someone else's investment instead of your own. And once you understand this, your entire life changes. So if you're tired of being stuck, if you're tired of working to pay interest instead of building wealth, watch this entire video because I'm going to show you exactly how to escape the debt trap. Think about it this way. If you have $50,000 of debt, that's $50,000 you don't own. Someone else owns it. You're basically paying someone else to use their money. And not only are you paying to use it, you're paying interest on top of that. So you're actually paying way more than $50,000. You might end up paying $70,000 or $80,000 for that $50,000 of debt. It's insane when you think about it. But here's what most people do. They get into debt and they just accept it. Student loans, car loans, credit card debt, mortgage debt. They think it's normal. They think everyone has debt, so it must be okay. But rich people don't think that way. Rich people see debt as a trap because it is. Let me break down the types of debt. There's good debt and bad debt. And this is important to understand because not all debt is equal. Good debt is debt that creates value or generates income. A mortgage on a rental property that generates positive cash flow is good debt because the property generates more income than the debt costs. A business loan that you use to start a profitable business is good debt because the business generates income to pay off the loan. Those are examples of good debt. Bad debt is debt you use to buy things that go down in value. A car loan is bad debt. The moment you drive that car off the lot, it loses value, but you're still paying interest on it. Credit card debt is bad debt. You're buying things on credit that you can't afford. Student loans can be either good or bad depending on what degree you get and whether it generates enough income to justify the debt. Here's what rich people understand that poor people don't. Rich people use debt strategically. They use good debt to build wealth. They avoid bad debt like it's poison. A poor person sees debt as a necessity. They think everyone has to have a car payment. Everyone has to have student loans. Everyone has to have a mortgage. So they just accept it. But think about this. If you never took on a car loan and instead bought cheap cars with cash, how much money would you save? A car loan might be $400 a month for 5 years. That's $24,000 just for a car. If you bought a used car with cash for $5,000 and drove it for 10 years, you saved $19,000. And that's money you could have invested. That money could have compounded and turned into way more. The same thing with credit cards. Credit card debt is the worst kind of debt. The interest rates are insane. 25% interest rates are common. So if you have $10,000 of credit card debt at 25% interest, you're paying $2,500 a year just in interest. That's money. That's just gone. It's not building you anything. It's just disappearing. Rich people don't use credit cards like this. They use credit cards for rewards and they pay them off in full every single month. They never carry a balance. They never pay interest. But poor people carry balances and pay thousands of dollars in interest every year. Now let's talk about the real cost of debt. It's not just the interest you pay. It's the opportunity cost. That's the money you could have made if you invested that money instead of spending it on debt payments. Let's say you have a car payment of $400 a month. If you invested that $400 every month for 30 years at a reasonable return, you'd have almost $500,000. $500,000. That's the real cost of that car payment. It's not just the money you paid the bank. It's the money you didn't make because you were paying the bank instead of investing. This is why rich people are obsessed with avoiding debt. They understand this opportunity cost. They understand that every dollar they pay towards debt is a dollar they're not investing. And they understand that investing compounds over time, that $400 a month becomes $500,000. That's life-changing money. But here's the thing. Rich people didn't always have money. They started somewhere. The difference is they made different choices than poor people make. When rich people wanted a car, they didn't get a car loan. They saved up and bought a used car with cash. When they wanted a house, they saved up a bigger down payment so they could borrow less and pay less interest. They made choices that kept them out of debt. Now, I'm not saying debt is always bad. Like I said, good debt can be useful. A mortgage on your primary residence might make sense. A business loan might make sense if the business generates more income than the loan costs. But the average person uses debt irresponsibly. They use debt to buy things they can't afford. They use debt to live a lifestyle they haven't earned. And that's the trap. Here's how you avoid the debt trap. First, stop taking on bad debt. Don't get car loans. Don't carry credit card balances. Don't buy things on credit that you can't afford to pay cash for. This is hard because everyone around you is doing it. But that's exactly why you'll be different. That's why you'll build wealth while everyone else stays broke. Second, if you have existing debt, make a plan to pay it off. Start with the highest interest debt first. Credit cards should be priority number 1. Then car loans. Then student loans. Build momentum by paying off the small debts first, if it motivates you. But the goal is to get to zero debt.
Third, once you're out of debt, stay out of debt. Don't replace one debt with another. Save up and buy things with cash. Yes, it takes longer, but you actually own the thing. You're not paying interest, and you're not destroying your future. Fourth, start investing the money you would have spent on debt payments. That's your wealth-building money. That's the money that compounds over 30 years and turns into real wealth. That's the difference between being rich and being poor. The bottom line is this: debt is a trap. Debt is the opposite of wealth. Every dollar you spend on debt is a dollar you're not investing. Every dollar you're not investing is wealth you're not building. Rich people understand this. They avoid debt.
They build wealth. Poor people take on debt. They stay poor. The choice is yours. But if you want to build real wealth, you need to avoid the debt trap. You need to make different choices than most people make. And you need to do it today, not tomorrow, not next year. Today, that's how you escape the debt trap and start building real wealth. And that's exactly what we're about here at Money Manifesto. So if you found this valuable, please like and subscribe. Comment below with your biggest debt regret or your plan to get out of debt. And I'll see you in the next one. Money Manifesto out.